top 5 coaches on the hot seat. We're at the halfway point of the season now. This is an interesting season that I don't think there are like big hot seats yet. I think Neil Brown was the biggest, and I think he's, in my opinion, you got to take him off. I think he's 4-1. He's at 4-1 when everybody thought he was going to be 1-4. I think you take Neil Brown off.
Yeah. I think he has to be off.
I think he has to be off.
I think some other coaches in the Big 12, their seats are heating up.
Yeah, there's one of them on this list. But we'll start in the ACC. Number 5, Brent Pry from Virginia Tech. Only his second year. I realize this, but they don't really look like they're making any headway. And I don't think they're going to let him go after this year. I know they're 2-3 right now. They haven't gotten to the teeth of their schedule yet. They've got to start doing something better, and maybe Kyron Drones stepping as the starter helps them. He's very athletic. We saw him here. He's got some athleticism that big guy, big arm, very athletic. But we'll see. I just think that Brent Pry needs to, he's 5th on this list for a reason. Like probably not there, but around like if they finish 3-9 or 4-8 after starting to it, like it's probably maybe you didn't make the right choice at Virginia Tech. Number 4, Jack, I want your opinion on this one. Dana Holgorsen.
Oh.
Look, he got caught in a roster crunch this year that was not completely of his own making. Understandable. I know he has the full support of Chris Pesman. That's not in question. And by hot seat with Dana Holgorsen, it might be his own. Like he might be the one going like, all right, that's it for me. I'd like to relax here. I don't think he wants to go out like that, and I think that they'll give him more time. But if they continue to kind of play how they have been, and they just emotionally so uneven as a team, and if that continues to happen, I do think that going into the second year in the Big 12, with the league getting even bigger than it was when you agree to join it, and that meaning more competition for the players that you're going to be getting. And Houston's in a great, Houston and UCF in particular. Cincinnati to some degree on this. Those being the big cities, schools that you can maybe get some of those transfers that don't work out at the University ofs in your state. Like that one, get the homesick people, especially in the recruiting area, a hotbed like Houston. I mean, I'm trying to Houston's one of the top 3. Like it's Houston, Miami, Los Angeles are the 3 best recruiting cities in the country. And Houston is sitting in one of them. So they should be able to kind of maybe shortcut some things a little bit differently. And so you wanted somebody there at coach who can help you do that. I think that can be Dana Holgorsen, but they've got to start playing better. They certainly have to start playing better.
Yeah, they absolutely have to start playing better. I'm actually on the record as saying that I think Houston can only give Dana these first 2 years in the Big 12 max before they really feel like they've got momentum because of especially what you were saying about the recruiting bed that is Houston and, frankly, the transfer portal aspect of that, where guys who don't work out elsewhere will want to come home.
Yeah.
And where are they going to come home to? I mean, you want to say it's going to be Houston. It's something that TCU has been trying to take advantage of in DFW, and seems like they have started to.
Do you know who's going to take advantage of it in Houston if Houston doesn't? Is Texas A&M.
Yeah.
If they're not, I mean, Jimbo hasn't been big in the transfer portal. I mean, he gets the guys out of Houston he wants anyway before they even transfer for the most part. But believe you me, he's going to start doing it because Texas is going to start doing it. So you better start taking advantage of that.
Yeah, they absolutely have to start taking advantage of that, and they need to capitalize on the momentum that is moving up in the world, moving up a conference.
Yeah.
They cannot let that go to waste. So they can't afford to give Dana more than 2 years.
Yeah, and I don't think he's in any kind of imminent danger, but
he has to be ready to embrace that portal hard.
But yeah, and I think he will be, but they've got to be ready. He's got to be ready to pounce.
They have to win 7 games next year.
Yeah. This has
before the bowl.
This is a critical offseason for him, for sure. Unless that and the only reason I would see him getting fired this year is if it just completely on fire.
If they bottom out and look like, I don't know, Rice.
Yeah. Who they lost to. Yeah, exactly. Number 3, talked about it a little bit earlier in the show just a few minutes ago. Dino Babers at Syracuse. Dino has had some seasons where he started out well. Like last year, they started like a house on fire. They played the teeth of their schedule and didn't finish strong. They've got the teeth of their schedule coming up, North Carolina or Clemson, North Carolina, FSU, back-to-back weeks. That's going to be tougher for them. But if they can navigate the back half better, then he might be all right. But if playing the teeth of their schedule sends their season into a tailspin like it did last year, I think that if you're Syracuse, you got to stop spinning your wheels. You do. And that's where they would move on. Although he's brought more excitement to Syracuse football than like the previous 5 guys ahead of him. Maybe going back to Paul Pasqualoni, who coached Donovan McNabb. But clearly they can do some things at Syracuse, and you can win anywhere if you do it the right way. And he's brought back some juice there a little bit, but they've not been able to sustain it. And so they start out well when they're not playing good teams, but then, if your goal is just to go 6-6 every year and win 5 easy ones, win 1 medium one, and lose the 6 hard ones, then fine, keep Dino Babers. But right now, that's basically what you're doing. You lose the hard ones, you win a medium one, and that's it. Number 2, Justin Wilcox at Cal. Given everything, and Stanford just changed their head coach last year, but given everything that's gone on with Stanford and Cal needs to decide as they're going to the ACC next year, who are you going to be athletically? Who are you going to be football-wise? And not that Justin Wilcox isn't a good coach, but maybe you need to re-identify who your program is. And the reason that you guys got left out of this until the very end, and it took, the ACC would not have even entertained the thought of Stanford and Cal if Florida State and Clemson hadn't, started going, rock, we don't like our money. Had that not happened, we want more money. Had that not happened, and that wouldn't have, I don't think the ACC, they could have said like, oh, what about Stanford and Cal? They're great academic institutions. They've been like, so they're all the way over there. We're fine. We got 16, we got 15 teams. Notre Dame plays us 4 times a year or whatever they are. They're in the basketball. We're good. Lots of nerd schools like UVA and North Carolina and Duke. We're good. We don't need them. Like, what money they give us, Yeah. So now maybe, but like, I just don't think it would have happened if Florida State and Clemson, and I left UNC out of this, don't start squawking about money and saying they're going to leave.
Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right on that front. My thing about Cal and Wilcox is mostly just, one, are they going to care enough to even make that decision? And 2, if they do care enough, maybe they're smart enough to do we're going to give them a year in the ACC mostly to let the program get through the first-year struggles and then bring in a new coach.
And it might be fair to Justin Wilcox to like maybe start working for a university if they start caring around him, because like he doesn't care. He cares a ton. I mean, like care around him.
I hope I was clear on that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. You kind of led me to that point there. Like care around your coach before you're like, oh, he's not good. Well, do you care as much as he does? Because if you care as much as he does, then you'll give him what he needs. Because the reason that Stanford and Cal got lost out of this was pure arrogance and a total misreading of what college athletics is. Total misreading. Completely.
It's an entertainment business.
Yeah, I don't like how the 2 smartest schools acted the dumbest in this whole thing. Will remain a mystery to the end of time.
The nice way to say it is principle.
I guess.
They were holding to the old principle of amateurism, and which I know is gone.
Or like, oh, well, or just saying like, well, we're in the Bay Area. Like, okay, what are
if
your...
it's that, they deserved everything they got.
What are your ratings in the area that you're in? And just not everywhere else, in your own city. In your own city, how many people watch you?
The ticket gate,
yeah.
Like,
how many people watch your own thing in your own city? Before you start telling me, we'll do great in Chicago. Come on. Number 1, Billy Napier at Florida. Up, down, up, down, up, down. That's what the Gators have been for years now. Billy Napier hasn't changed that. I personally think that they should stick with him until he gets quarterback in the door, but I don't know if the Gator fans will be that patient And
especially if Urban Meyer rumors are on the table.
Look, that documentary, and like I did a video, we did it on the triple option the day where like Michigan State is not the job that Urban Meyer's taking. So don't like when he says I'm not interested in Michigan State, believe him. Believe him. He is looking for the cream of the creme de la creme. Somewhere that he knows that he can walk in the door and say, these are the things that I need. Not to mention, it would be completely stupid for Michigan State, who is riddled in scandal, to hire Captain Scandal. The only place Captain Scandal, in my opinion, can go back and try to reboot it is a place that would decide that they don't care about that. Because he did it before, and they navigated through before, and things could be different now, so maybe he won't do some of those same things. That's a little naive.
You're right.
But
SMU.
But I would think that Florida, given that he did that and he's feeling all nostalgic and, oh, look, I can get, he would put Tim Tebow on the coaching staff. Like, those are things that would happen if he went there.
I don't know if Tebow would go on the coaching staff.
And he's making a lot of money doing not coaching. So, but I mean, like that would be one of those things. So they have that documentary out there, or if you could call it a documentary, you could call it a romantic retelling as opposed to a documentary, docudrama, maybe. I don't know what you call that, but that's out there. So I think that Billy Napier is going to be in a little bit of heat because, look, Georgia is not getting any worse. Like, they're not as good as they were last year, but that doesn't mean they're worse. They're still elite and the best team in the country. That's one of their rivals. That's the number one team in the country. The number 5 team in the country is their biggest rival. Miami, who they refuse to play, looks like they're good again. UCF is now in the Big 12, is going to have resources. Like, you got